Howdy.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to make you the host because I did not realize I was still signed in to online when I was watching one of the recordings earlier.
No worries. Okay. Admit all. Jason, how are you?
Hello, good. How are you?
Doing well. Looking forward to learning more about FMView. I've had a lot of people in my group show interest in it. So,
Okay, awesome.
um, looking forward to seeing seeing it in person.
Okay, great. I'm looking forward to
But
showing.
otherwise, how are you doing, Jason? It's been a bit since we've had you on here.
Yeah, I guess I was showing S3
Yeah, you showed us
last
the
time. Okay.
S3 stuff, and then you went on and showed us a bunch of other stuff, which we all were
Okay.
really excited about.
All right. Yeah, I'm doing good. I've been really busy. I haven't done I started preparation about 15 minutes ago for this. So but
Okay,
I've done the presentation once before, so I didn't prepare then either though, so
cool. Well, we're pretty open here. If you have 15 minutes, we're fine with that. If you have 2 hours, we're fine with
Oh no,
that.
no. Yeah, no, I can stay as long as there is interest. Um, well, probably not past 2 hours. I should cut it off there.
Yeah, we normally try to once it gets to that 2 hour mark, I think everybody's head starts to spin. So we'll wait a couple minutes for everybody to jump in before starting on with the presentation. I know Steven, who's on, has a couple of security announcements that you wanted to make. Now would probably be a good time for that. I also have a couple of kind of Claris related announcements that I could also make. But Steven, if you're ready to go on that, um, uh, feel free to kind of share what you have, and then we can chat about the Claris stuff, and then get into the to Jason's presentation.
All right, that's good. Happy to start, and thank you all for having me here again today. Funny talking old guy from down in the hills. So there are a couple of security issues that have sort of floated back up. They, strictly speaking, they are not new, but people seem to be rediscovering them.
Hmm.
First one deals with issues related to the inadvertent exposure to database schema. Uh, I guess I should say the control of database schema by subordinate level privilege accounts when they are executing a script that runs with full access privileges that also displays a dialog. And this cropped up in the last 36 hours on the community. These issues were addressed and fixed in version 21. They were actually supposed to have been done earlier, but that's when they got done. But they are causing some confusion once again. So I will post a link in the chat in a few minutes to a white paper that covers all of these issues and how they were solved and addressed. This paper was released contemporaneously with version 21. Okay, that's the first issue. Second issue deals with account names and testing for what the user entered. And there are several different nuances to this, one of which deals with the case insensitivity of account names. Upper and lower case, it just, there's no difference. And this can cause some issues. There are also multiple syntax that are available for account names, all of which are valid, which can occur with certain external authentication providers, including Open Directory, Windows Local Security Groups, and Azure AD, which is, I think, now called Entra, which seem to be having its own issues of a separate nature today. I hope they get that fixed. I am working on a white paper that describes all of this and will provide a custom function to address these issues, including the correct operator to use for the test. And I can tell you right now, it is not the equals operator. Account name equals Justin, not going to work right. So we will, I will come forward with this. It needs a little more work done on it. It also needs a little more testing to see if it also possibly can occur with certain OpenID Connect services, including Okta, Ping, and others. So we're just working on it. And if I can get past my 27 meetings in the month of October and get back on a somewhat more sane schedule, I'll be able to move along with this. But those are the two issues. Control of database schema when run script with full access privilege and display a dialog. And when I say schema, I mean all of it. Managed database, the relationship graph, matters related to the data viewer, and my goodness, there's Ed McPike. I haven't seen him since the cows came home. But that's the first one. And the second one, as I say, is this multiple business related to account names. So that's about all I have to say about that, unless someone has a question, but I don't want to impinge on Jason's time or Justin's announcements.
I just had one clarification question about the first security issue. You mentioned it was fixed in V21. Is it now coming back in V22?
No, it is not. This, what I think what caused the issue today was the person was reading the release notes and he did not understand what had actually been done. Believing that he could no longer, for example, grant someone power to do certain things under circumstances. What these fixes are designed to do is to prevent the inadvertent and unauthorized access to these schema models or schema items. Others? All right, I'm going to be quiet. I will put that link to that paper in the chat.
That would be great. All right. I just have a couple of quick kind of Claris announcements, and then we can get into the FMView presentation. The first is that, and this is pretty hot off the presses. I just got this from Rick Kalman a few hours ago. They have a new page called their AI playbook that really they're trying to make it as easy as possible for developers to get started using AI. And it's actually a nice looking page. I'll share it in the chat, the playbook. If you're looking to kind of start working with AI, that's the place that Claris is telling you to start with. And I haven't had a chance to look too deeply into it, but there's a little quiz you could take about it. about how you want to use AI, and then there's a bunch of different modules of different kind of things that you can do to get more involved in using AI. Um, and then they also have a community page about AI, so I'll share that as well. And I think that's gonna kind of a companion piece to the AI playbook. The other thing is they sent us a list of kind of community offerings, different pages and different programs that you can get involved with Claris. I sent it over to the IO group in an email, but I'll share the links to all of those different pages in the chat. And if you are interested in doing any of those things, feel free to go and check them out. So I'll just share all of that in the chat and take what you want from it. So those are the only announcements that I had. Oh, the third announcement, and Robert, is this the Claris Engage thing? Is that public news or is that private news?
Well, there's been a post on the community about it by
Oh.
and was it Anne or NG? I think NG. So I believe it is public.
Okay, so the third thing is there is no Claris Engage 2026. They're skipping the year and then in 2027 moving back to the previous model of doing it in a uh, kind of larger hotel venue. So if you're planning your life around a 2026 Engage, I would start planning differently. So that's everything that I had. Are there any other major kind of Claris announcements, or shall we get into the presentation?
Yes, the announcement that was posted in community was posted by Ann Devons, and I suppose this will become knowledgeable. It's floating around in the community. Tomorrow, it's either tomorrow or Friday, will be Angie Wong's final day at Claris. She is taking her early retirement.
Okay. That's also some news. All right. I'll see if I can find up. It looks like Robert got the engage post, so he's posted that on the chat, and I'm gonna post all the different offerings that Claris sent over. But I think if that's everything, we can get going with Jason. All right, Jason, feel free to take it away. You're on mute, just so you know.
Hello.
All right, we're good.
Okay, and you see me too, right? My screen.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Cool. So yeah, I'm here to show FM View, which is a tool I built to help you make web viewer apps. But before we get started, I'd like to sort of poll the audience. Oh, maybe I should stop sharing so we can see the grid. I just wanted to know how many people, so get your, if you're on screen, you can use your hands. Otherwise, get ready to click the react button so we can see what you think. I wanted to know if there's anybody in the group that's currently making web viewer apps with some kind of a build tool. So that would mean you're using a text editor that runs a web server for development, and it'll bundle your code when you're ready to deploy. Anybody? Okay, I think I saw one, two. Okay, awesome. So whether FMView will be useful to you, I don't really know. Actually, I'd be really interested in hearing from you after if you think it's useful. FMView is more targeted at the FileMaker developer that's kind of avoided that stuff because it seems too difficult or complicated or time-consuming, and allows you to make web viewers a little bit faster. So I would also like to know in the group who does make web viewer apps from time to time, but uses another method, just sort of hard coding or lots of copy pasting from AI and things like that. And I saw a couple hands there. And so I guess I can assume that the rest of you are not doing too much with the web viewer because it seems too difficult or time consuming, etc. So this hopefully will be very useful for you. So this is my app FMView, and actually I'll put this URL in the chat right now so you can all see where you can get it. It's free. You can download it here. And before I sort of walk through the interface, I think I'd like to just build something simple. So I'm hoping that somebody in the group will come on mic and suggest something simple that they would like to build, something that's difficult to do natively in FileMaker, um, something that you'd like to FileMaker to be able to do more easily. Any ideas?
I'll throw out ideas if nobody else has any. Um, Here's a simple one, a time tracker.
Oh, okay. Um, all right. So, so walk me through the vision just a little bit more.
So I want to be able to, I'm talking more about like a stopwatch type thing
Yep.
where you can click a button and it'll start the timer, and then when you click the button, it'll stop the timer.
Okay. And then do you want to like put notes in or something like that when you stop or?
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking like we really want to build something like, enhanced, it would save it as a record and be able to tie it to kind of like a customer and put in the dollar amount that you would charge for it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's try it. So I'm going to go to new app and I'm going to call it time tracker. And what is it? CFDG, right?
Yep.
Get that right? Okay, cool. Great. Okay, so build a time tracker. Um, show a start button. Um, when the timer is running, show um, the amount of time that has passed, and the stop button. And when the user clicks stop, prompt for a brief description of the activity. And when that's done, run a FileMaker script. We'll call it save time record and pass in start time, end time, and description. Okay, let's try it. And actually, I'm going to go for, and you can probably do this actually. Let's try it. So I have a choice of models here that I can use. And Mini's great for really basic stuff. It'll something like this will cost a tiny fraction of a cent, like a thousandth of a cent or something like that. If you take off the Mini, you get a more powerful model. It'll be smarter. It costs slightly more, but it'll also be a very small fraction of a cent for something like this. Okay, so it says a basic time tracker has been implemented. Okay, it's just basically repeating what I asked it, so we don't need to read that. So let's try it. We've got start, and we can see a clock running, stop, and okay, interesting. I was wondering how it would present that. It's using JavaScript to present a dialogue, which is kind of ugly, but it actually is interesting that it
Works.
appears outside the web viewer. So if you build this in a really small web viewer, this actually might be desirable. So that's why I find that kind of interesting. Um, Added the tables. Okay, and then you can see at the top here it says FM script called save time record, and it's reset this here. So there we go. That's our app. Are you satisfied, or is there anything you'd like to change, Jason?
I mean, if I was building this, I would probably make it a little bit, enhance it a little bit more. Maybe
Mhm.
have it save the time so that I can resume the time instead of having it, pretty often you start something and stop it and then get back to it.
Oh, I
Um,
see. So you're not really interested in the start time and end time then. You're actually just interested in the total time.
yeah. So like, you're working on X project, you start it, you go to for lunch, you stop it, go for lunch, come
Yeah.
back, start it again.
Okay, so the only record you want at the end of the day is the amount of time, not you don't want, or do you want all the start and end times as well?
Uh, I mean, it depends. It depends on
Yeah.
how micromanaging I want to get for my team.
Yeah,
Do I want
exactly.
to know all
So
the
I guess
time
the
that
point
they need?
here is that you can do whatever you want. You just have to know what you want and you have to be able to describe it. So
Exactly.
so yeah, there's so many choices. There's so many ways you could do it. But I mean I could say let's change it up completely so that we have a pause button. Yeah, so let's okay, add a pause button. Um, and hopefully it'll just figure out what to do with that. I'm pretty sure it will. So yeah, now I forgot to tell it how to handle start and end. It's going to get confused about that actually. So
Let's see what it tries to do.
yeah, we'll see what it does. Like you never know. But yeah, if I was thinking it through, I would have said nix the start and end time and just show me just report the total time. Okay, we're reporting. Okay, so let's see what it's done here. So we got start, and I'll just wait a couple seconds and then pause, and then resume, and then stop. Blah blah blah. Okay, and so I want to see what it actually sent to FileMaker. So I have this COM tab, communications, and this has a log of all the times that FMView called methods in the web viewer and all the times the web viewer called scripts in FileMaker. So we can see here the most recent are at the top, and we received a call to run the FileMaker script to save time record. And in info, we can see the data here. So we got script save time record is always there. It's something we need internally to keep track of all of this. And then we've got start time, end time. Oh, interesting. So there's so yeah, it didn't add the total time. And I would imagine if we deduct these, we actually won't like if we do the math between these, we actually won't get the correct result. So yeah, it's sort of we can actually look at the source code and see what it did over here. So we got let's see, start timer. So that it sets the start time to the current timestamp. Elapsed milliseconds is 0. Timer running is true. Timer interval. So every 1,000 milliseconds, I think that's to update the on display timer. And then we've got pause timer, clear interval, timer running is false. Um, and then we got resume timer, new date minus elapsed milliseconds. It's going to take me too long to figure out what's going on here, but let's just ask the AI.
Yeah. That's the
So
whole point, right?
I guess the start time is when I first started, and the end time, actually, when you run the FileMaker script, I guess the start time is when I first started, and the end time is when I last ended. Um, so I'm not seeing any deductions for time while it was paused. So here I'm just asking questions. So it's not going to it shouldn't be mutating the file. It's going to realize that it's just an inquiry. Oh, it actually is editing the file. The reason I know that is because I see these dots here animating, which means it's rewriting the source right now. And once it gets done that, the response message will stream in real time. So
So it's
let's
probably
see.
realizing it made an error and fixing
Yeah,
it.
it might be changing something, although I don't. Yeah, it's obviously having to make assumptions here because we didn't give very detailed information. So it's going to deduct from the total elapsed time and correctly calculate the end time excluding pause durations. So now the end time isn't real. It's going to be a fake end time. Um, but uh, But yeah, anyway, I think that gives you the basic idea of how you can create something really simple with FMView. And then when it comes time to deploy it, there's a deploy tab here, and there's a couple options here. So we can get this is a really simple small app. We might want to just paste it into a web viewer. So I can check this box and copy to clipboard. And then I'll just open VS Code here and paste it. And so this is a FileMaker calculation that you can just paste in right now. It has put this replace with your data thing here, but and it's doing a substitution on this string, which um, which isn't even in here. So it will have no effect. And that's just because this web viewer, it just so happens that it didn't need any initial data from FileMaker in order to work. So you can sort of just ignore that. But yeah, that could be pasted into a web viewer and it's ready to go. If I turn that off, then it's suitable to, and it's not going to have any substitutions, but it's suitable to put in a FileMaker field or something if you're loading it from a field. Or you could also put in a text object and load it using get object attribute if that's the approach that you like. Um, and if there were substitutions that would have to be made, you'd have to do it yourself. There's a couple other options here, but this app is so simple that it doesn't they don't apply. So to deploy, basically you're just creating that script by that name. I think I called it whatever I called it, and pasting in the WebViewer app. So really, really, really easy. So I think now I'll show you some of the things that I've built with FMView so you can get a broader understanding of what can be done with this. Actually, no. First, I'm just going to show you a little bit more about the interface. So at the top here, we have some breadcrumbs here. It says CFDG. That's like a project, and then Time Tracker is a app. I can click these to rename them. And then I have V4 of 4, version 4 of 4. And when I click that, I can see the complete history of versions of this app. So version 1 is just the boilerplate that was on the screen when we started. And then the AI has created 3 more versions as I've requested. And so I can go back, say, to that first version if I want, just by clicking there. And this is the original without the pause button. And I can also see that this robot icon tells me that the AI created this version. I can also create my own version. I can create a version based on version 2, or I can create a version based on version 4, whatever I want. It shows me this number here means this version was created from 1, but I could create a branch here. I could say I want to use this as my basis for creating version 5. So now 5 originated from 2, for example. I can always delete the last version. And whoops. And I could keep doing that. It also tells me how long it took the the AI to respond to these. So we got like 30 seconds, and this will depend on how big your app is. Sometimes it'll be quite long when it gets quite big. There's also this diff button here. So if I want to see what changed between version 3 and 4, I can click diff, and it uses the diff checker API to show me side by side and highlight the changes from that. So that's going to put the currently selected app on the left, I think, and yeah, I think so. And actually, I forget which way it goes. You'll have to figure that out yourself. Sorry. But yeah, the currently selected app compared to the one that you click the button on. Here, let's go to here and do diff this one. Yeah, the one you click diff on is on the left. Um, Cool. And then let's see, is there anything else I should show? So under the FM tab, this is where we keep track of some things that helps to make FMView run. So here's an object that contains all of the methods that FileMaker can call using perform JavaScript in WebViewer. And there would be a sample parameter there if we were actually using this. And setup is just a default that I add to all new FMView apps, and it would be used to put the initial data into the app that you want to display when you load it. And then here we have an object of FileMaker scripts that the web viewer can call. So save time record is one that was added when I requested it, and then this JS time tracker load. That is another default. So most apps need some data from FileMaker to work when they initially load. So most FMView apps, when they load, they call this script to basically say, I'm ready for your data. And then FileMaker calls this method to send the data in. Com allows you to manually run a method. So if you want to try running one of your methods from FileMaker, you can click on it here. You can edit the parameter that you're sending in and then just run it. And you'll see it down here in the integration log. And if the web viewer responds back, that'll go to the integration log as well. Cool. So yeah, next, unless I have any questions, I can take a quick break. But the next thing I want to show is just some apps that I've built.
One quick question, just
Sure.
about the name of the app. Is there a connection between this and Vue, like the framework?
Yeah, it is using Vue.js.
Okay, I
Yeah.
was so it's doing that under the hood.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a long system prompt um, that tells the AI all sorts of information about how I want the app built, and that includes using Tailwind and Vue.js and preferring some other things as well as lots of other information about how to do things related to FMView, like manage those objects here and things of that nature. So you could completely customize that if you want. If you don't want to use Vue and you want to use React, I'm not totally sure that that would work without a build step. But yeah, you could mutate the let's see, AI assistant. So here's this is the initial system prompt. So it's like 3 pages worth of information here, and you can change this however you like to make this work in a completely different way.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, so let's just have a look at what I have here. So actually, let's look at the FMView interface first. So you saw that there's these breadcrumbs at the top of the screen. This is a great example of something really simple that would be pretty much impossible to build in FileMaker because these parts can be different sizes and they're clickable. right? So there's not really any easy way to do this in FileMaker. So I can click this, I can edit it, I can change the name, and and yeah, there you go. So that is a simple web viewer app. Another example would be this code editor here. So this is it's obviously got syntax highlighting, and it can also do automatic formatting. Um, by the way, you don't have to use the AI. You can code it all manually if you want to. Um, and um, and yeah, so there's another example of a fairly simple app. So this is designed so that if I make edits here like blah blah, it saves after there's like a debounce. So I think it waits like 3 seconds or something so that it doesn't try to save on every keystroke. So after I stop typing for 3 seconds, it saves, and you could see that it updated the web viewer immediately. Yeah. And then here's another example. So this menu here, there's only one here, but this is basically a pop-up menu that's generated from JSON data, which is another thing that's pretty much impossible to do in FileMaker, very difficult to make a value list work based on some kind of data format like JSON or XML or whatever. Very, very easy to do in a web viewer. So this is basically a small web viewer within a button popover. So that's how that works. And I guess that's it for web viewers in FM View. Let's look at something that's more sophisticated. So this app is kind of big. So I have this pop out button that allows me to open it in a larger window that I can resize. Because if I should have updated that. Oh, well. If I resize, if I go back to split screen and I resize this window, it resizes the code editor. So unfortunately in FileMaker, we don't have a way to make both sizes expand at the same time. If you wanted that, you'd have to use a web viewer. And I just don't want to make my entire app in a web viewer. So unfortunately, it's not going to work. Um, Unfortunately, this is a PDF viewer, but unfortunately the URLs are expired. So it's actually not working right now. And I don't think I want to spend time fixing the URLs. Um, but I show this in my YouTube introduction, which you can click on in from the post on my website if you want to see it. But it's fairly sophisticated. It loads thumbnails for all of the PDF documents that are listed here. It allows you to add tags to individual documents, flag them, add comments, go between pages using the arrows or with the keyboard, zoom in and out, and filter so you can see only the pages that have a certain tag or all sorts of things. So this is one of the more sophisticated apps that I've built with FMView, and it's almost entirely with the AI. I did very little editing myself. So it's super capable. Let's see, staff report. Again, I'll pop this out. Any information in here that's real is public already. It's posted publicly by the organization. So, oh, there's actually very little information on here. So this is a tool to make a report, a PDF report. So I can click in these fields to put in information. Oops. I don't know why it jumps down there. I can say this is agenda item 1A. And you can see that each time I finish editing a field, let's go to proposal here, build a single family dwelling with attached garage. As soon as I click save, it's running a FileMaker script to save the report changes. We got more of the same types of fields, and then we've got these larger fields that allow you to use Markdown and so forth. Formatting. I'll save that. And there's also, for example, the ability here to make it bilingual. So then it puts English on the left, French on the right. If we say that French is the primary language, it switches them all around. We can decide that the output should be legal or letter. And then I click Save PDF. This actually is not handled entirely by front-end JavaScript. You need a web server to convert the HTML into PDF. So that's something separate that I've set up using Node-RED. So that'll then save a PDF of this report into the file for this application. There's also the signature button, which is not going to work, but basically it calls the FileMaker script.js sign document, which asks the user to confirm that they want to sign the document, and then the signature will appear here. It'll be sent back from FileMaker in the form of a base64 encoded image. FileMaker would be providing all of the mapping information that it has on file for this application. So you can choose one of those here to show on the application, and then add exhibit. Let's say I want to see a site plan. Click add, and again, it's just like fetching images, but FileMaker would be sending it a list of everything it has in the file, and then I can choose it, and it'll add that as an exhibit, and I can add a caption below it. So yeah, this is an example of something that would be fairly difficult, I think, to do in FileMaker. Certainly switching the languages side to side would be very difficult. But maybe other than that, it's not too bad because we have sliding and so forth. But you obviously wouldn't be editing it in the same format in which it would be viewed. So I'm starting to use FMView more and more for, I don't have anything in production yet, more and more for print layouts because they're just so capable. There's so many things that you can do with organizing layouts, like with multiple quote unquote portals that can be extremely difficult in FileMaker. So it's pretty powerful from that perspective as well.
And it's nice that the pre, quote unquote preview mode and the browse mode are basically the same when
Yeah,
you're editing. Whereas in FileMaker, if you're the browse mode can be very different than the preview mode for
yeah,
printouts.
yeah, exactly. And so you're right. Yeah, this is exactly how the output will work. It's actually not precise. I haven't been able to figure it out, but even though I'm using a Google font, um, the Linux-based PDF generator is it looks like the same font, but it's rendering slightly differently. So sometimes the lines don't cut off on the same words, for example. Which is totally fine. But yeah, it doesn't work identically. Um, okay, let's see. We want to look at, okay, so Kanban. This one I haven't. It's not like ready for prime time really, um, but you can drag things around. The tricky thing with Kanban is how do you tell FileMaker about the sort order? And I noticed that even the built-in Kanban, the add-on, it has a bug where it can lose track of things, and you can end up with two tiles that have the same ID, and then you can never reorder them. So, so it is quite a tricky thing to manage. Like basically, I think the way the add-on works is if I drag this here, it's going to look at the sort field for this, and it's going to put this halfway between. And But if I put it at the top, I think it's going to take this minus 1, right? And yeah, there's just situations where if you're dragging things around, it can all get broken on you. And I think that my approach, if I have to, I'm sure I will eventually have to implement a KMM boarding. And I'm thinking that my approach is going to be this to store the sort order not in these records, but in like a preferences table where it just says Kanban sort, and it just has maybe 3 arrays, one for each status. Um, and then you're not constantly modifying those records either for what is just a visual change. So I think that would be my approach, but yeah, I haven't built that yet. Calendars are really easy to build. This is version 2. This is the first version. All I did was I said create sample data suitable for calendar app, put the events in and around July, August 2025, and create a calendar app to view and edit them. And then it did that. And I had a question here, and it answered my question, but it didn't change anything else. So it got this in one shot. And just with that very brief explanation, it created, here, let's go under FM. And so this is the sample data it created. So sample data gets slotted into the sample parameter for the setup method. That's where the AI will put it if you ask for it to generate sample data. And so we've got, all of this stuff figured out that I didn't ask for. And so when this loads, I'll just refresh it. You can see it calls the FileMaker script JS calendar load, and then FileMaker calls the setup method. You can see all that in COM here. And I can even click on these, and it gives me a way to edit the event. It's giving me a pop-up calendar and everything. So, and if I save, oh, okay, of course, of course. Um, it's not gonna, it doesn't know what FileMaker script to run, so it didn't run a FileMaker script. But I could say when you save changes, run FileMaker script, calendar save change, or whatever. So it can do a lot with very little prompting. Um, it's good at doing graphs and charts. Really simple. Just tell it what you want, and it'll build it. Um, Value sliders is an example of something that's we can't do in FileMaker natively, just a really simple element that you might want to be able to do. So it's just basically, I think we've got under FM here, so we've got basically a sample parameter of max 50, min 0, and value 0. So you can change that to whatever you want. If there's already been a value selected, you would slot that into value. And then when you load the web viewer, and then it'll load that way. And then as soon as you release the key, it saves the data back to FileMaker. So let's look under COM here. So we just received value 15 for our script to change the value in a FileMaker script to 15. And then let's say on your on layout on record load, for example, you would use perform JavaScript in web viewer, and we would slot in that 15 here. Actually, I'll just make it 12 so you can see that when I run that. Um, hmm. Okay, it's broken. I don't know what to say. 0 to 20. Max 50. Okay. So something's off here. Switch to merge mode. Oh, okay. I asked it to switch to merge mode. Okay, I'll have to explain that. Let's just go back to version 3 though, because this one will work. So we want to say value 5, run, and now it's 5. Okay, so by default, FMView is using what I call the script method for integration. That is where the web viewer reports when it's ready. It calls a load script, and then the load script in FileMaker sends in the data. Now you might want to make that simpler, and this would probably be an ideal app where you might want to make it simpler, where you just want to merge the data right into the source code so that there's no back and forth. It's just going to load with what you want. So I asked the AI to switch to the merge mode, and so when I go to version 4, this mode is now merge. So this is actually all ignored now. And under merge, we have our sample data is now here. And when I deploy, um, let's try both, but yeah, let's just see escaped FileMaker calculation. So this is a calculation you could paste right into a web viewer, and you can see that it's doing a substitution. It's inserting those initial settings. So it's actually written a JSON set element function with the default values from the sample data, but we can change them here to whatever we want, and then just paste that into a web viewer, and we're done. If I don't check that, then this is what I get. And down here, I'll see model, data model. And so then I have to do a substitution in my app to replace this with a JSON object that contains the start, the min, max, and value. So yeah, merge mode is just designed to make it a really simple deployment for really simple apps. It's not great for larger apps because for one, there's a limit to how much you can paste into a calculation. I think it's like 30,000 characters. That might have been increased. And the other reason is that let's say you're referencing a field in the calculation, then anytime the field is edited in FileMaker, it's not just going to be sent into the web viewer, the whole web viewer is going to refresh, which may not be ideal, although sometimes it's actually desirable. So that's just a decision that you'll have to make. So yeah, I guess this version 4 just doesn't have a setup method anymore. Yeah, it doesn't. So that's why that wasn't working. It actually, the AI removed it when it created version 4. So do we have any questions?
Jason,
Yeah.
just a quick question. If you happen to, want to invoke a library that you have strong feelings about, right? Like, oh, please do this, but I want you to use
Yeah.
data tables. I want you to use, this thing, right? It knows to look for it, and then it's like if you're inventing a name, it's going to correct you saying, "Hey, I can't find this thing," or um,
Yep. Yeah, it can figure that out. So if you ask it to um, let's see, I think I got, so this was my first attempt at a code editor, and I just want to see. Yeah, so I actually asked for a code mirror editor, and this is like a year ago, so I don't know if it's gonna if it works properly, but let's see. Yeah, code mirror CSS, and oh, where's the actual? Oh, here it is, code mirror. Yeah, so it put in the scripts that I need to make it work just by requesting code mirror. Now, there's other times where I've asked for a markdown. I've just asked it to display markdown correctly, right?
mhm.
And it just picked one of the multiple libraries that are available. And
Okay.
but there's other times when I've because I've seen it create it with a couple different ones, and I've decided that I like Showdown, I think
Mhm.
it's called. So now I just ask for Showdown, and it gives me that one.
Anything that
Now,
could run you into like licensing issues or things like that?
I don't think so, because it's anything that's available on a CDN, I think is free to use. But you should always consult with your lawyer. I'm not a legal expert.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Um, Now, I should warn you, sometimes it doesn't actually choose the best source, and sometimes it'll pull old versions. So that's one thing that I've noticed where I sometimes just go look myself and I just put in the more recent one. Um, so yeah, that's something to watch for. In the system prompt, it's listed a few like preferred libraries. For example, if you ask for icons, it's going to use material icons by default if you don't specify what you want, because I've told it that. I just told it which URL to use, and it'll just do it. And sometimes it'll put icons in without you even asking for them. It probably did that on some of the apps I showed you that I just didn't notice. So yeah. Now, one drawback to this is that there are some libraries that are designed to work with build tools, and they're not designed to work over a CDN. So when you're using build tools to make your app, everything is getting packaged when you deploy it together. It's not going to be reaching out onto the internet to CDNs to load this data. So that is an advantage to building with build tools. I was thinking that maybe possibly in a future version of FMView in the deployment step, I could look for these CDN links and I could do an insert from URL from the URL and I could get the source code and I could merge it into the page. So that's something that maybe could be done in the future. But for now, it is reaching out and it won't work with some of and it's not super common now, but it's gonna be more and more common. Libraries that just expect to be compiled, basically.
And
I got
also,
a
Jason,
question.
please go on.
Can I ask a question, Jason?
Of course, go ahead.
Can you pass variables to these scripts, let's say? Can you?
Yep.
You can, because while you were doing this, I tried to build something. I built a
Oh,
conditional value list. And I
right.
was trying to figure out how can you save those values to a field, a FileMaker field, and then when somebody goes to the layout, you pass them along and it's pre-populated again. So I was trying to figure that part out.
I think I did. Oh, I guess I deleted it. I thought I built a conditional value list, but so basically what you want is two pop-up menus, right? Where you select something, and then depending on what you select, different
Yeah,
things appear.
I tried it with 3 and it works perfectly fine. I love it.
With three, is that
Yeah.
3JS? Okay, I'm not familiar. Okay,
No, with
so,
3 lists.
okay.
You know, you pick the first one, then, you know, it
Mhm.
populates the second one, and then depending on what you select on the second one, it populates the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like country,
Sorry,
state, cities, right?
So
yeah.
Something
yeah,
like that.
let's actually build something right now. Just so we can go through it'll be good to go through this one more time or multiple more times. Right? So I'm gonna make an app called um, I'm thinking car builder, like choose the choose the make and then the model, or yeah, pick a car. All right, so create. Okay, so I'm going to say create sample data for a number of car makes and models. Build a show two menus on the screen. Pick a make from the first menu, then select a model from the second You probably would figure this out, but I'm going to say only show models from the selected make. And then save button, run FileMaker script, save car selection. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, cool. Oh, let me just see what's going on here. Undefined is not an object, evaluating an object. Okay, so I got an error. I'm just gonna ask it to fix it. Screen is blank. I see an error in the console. Okay. All right, cool. So did that? Yeah, all right. So when this app loads, it's calling a FileMaker script, JS pick car something, JS pick a car load. And it's not passing anything in, just the script name. And then FileMaker replies back by running the setup method. And it's going to pass in the sample data that it created. Let's look at that over here. So here's the sample data that it created for this value list. And so I didn't tell it how I wanted it structured, but this is what it did. And that looks good to me. And so now I can pick Ford and then here. And then let's see if I change that, what happens. Oh, it goes blank. That's cool. So it figured that out itself. And then I can do this. And you notice also the save button is disabled. Just another thing that it just sort of figured out what to do there. And when I click save, it runs the FileMaker script, save car selection. So when it runs that FileMaker script, save car selection, it's passing in a JSON object to that script with make BMW and model X3. So you would use JSON get element, get script parameter, make to get the BMW, and the same thing for model to get X3. So I don't know if that answers your question about data coming back in terms of variables.
How do you load it when you first enter, let's say, the layout? How would you load it, the data, so the selection on the list is visible
Yeah.
from a
So
record?
the web viewer is requesting it by calling a FileMaker script, JS load,
Okay.
JS pick a car load. And then, so in that script, it's going to be up to you to have perform JavaScript in WebViewer, and you'll refer to the object name of the WebViewer, and you're going to call the method name is called setup, and then you will construct a JSON object that looks like that. Now you actually don't need to do this. This is here because if the person has already made a selection, like let's say I update this so it says BMW and model is X5. Okay, so I'll refresh this. Oh, it actually, I think it already did. Oh, okay, I'm not quite sure why. It's working for BMW, but it's not working for the model. Yeah, that would be. I could actually ask it to fix that. Um, Okay, so hopefully it'll fix that. Oh, so you see how it came so fast? It's just treating this as an inquiry. Um, I did choose a valid entry though, didn't I? X5. Oh, I will update the setup method to ensure that when the initial data is loaded from FileMaker, it sets the make first. Um, yeah, so there might have been like an order of operations or something there that caused it to fail, but um, it didn't it didn't actually update the code, did it? I've never seen it do that with the code updating after. Yeah, this was like I'm passing in a preset make and model. Yeah, and it only took 5 seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to delete the last version. And I'm just going to run it again. It's doing the same. Yes, fix it.
So, Jason, while
This
it's
could all be tweaked in the system prompts to like, I tried to tell it like if the user is just asking questions, just don't bother rewriting the source code and just answer the question. Okay, so yeah, it's still not working. Let's try something else. Honda Civic. Hmm. I mean, I could say still not working. Why not? Go ahead, Robert.
so out of curiosity, you're showing us things where everything is crafted from the start within FMView, right? Do you think we could use your tool to take existing web viewer widgets, right? Um, Regardless of where they're from, and then paste their code into FMView and say, hey, can you customize this thing? I'd like it to, do this other thing too, or even if it's just like cosmetics, right? Changing the colors and whatnot. So is this something that you've done some of or
It's
not
a
really?
really interesting question. I have not tried that. Um, so whenever you send a request to FMView, it's still not working. That's annoying. Um, Whenever you send it, actually, okay, sometimes there'll be an error here that the AI needs to know about to realize what's going on, but there wasn't in that case. Anytime you send a request to the to FMView, it sends the code that you have. And right now it's pretty much expecting it to follow a certain format. Um, like it because the boilerplate structure has CDN for Vue.js and Tailwind and some other things. And yeah, it has some structure to it already. If you just delete all that and you put in some other app, what will it do? I don't really know, actually. Um, it may or may not work, and it could probably be. Um, it probably would not be that hard to make it work better for that situation. Um, Probably what I might do is provide it a little bit more boilerplate as part of the
Mhm.
system prompt so that even if you send it something that's completely different from how it's normally built in FMView, it sort of knows where we want to get it to.
Mhm.
Um, Yeah, I think it would basically involve tweaking the system prompt in order to make it work well. But there's no other reason why it shouldn't work.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking, how often we hear people saying like they've deployed this FileMaker add-on, right? Uh, one of the native ones or something like that, and then
Yeah.
they want to change something about it, but then they're
Mm.
coming short. So
Yeah, the problem with the add-ons is there's a huge amount of code under those. Um, I think it would be too big for the because it's bundling everything. Like I was talking about bundlers earlier, or build tools. So it's going to have all those source libraries as part of the code. Um, so unfortunately,
mhm,
I don't think it's going to work for that.
cool.
You'd be sending it more
The
data
the payload,
than it.
yeah, the payload would be too large.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And the add-ons were crafted this way because they needed to run without any connections whatsoever, right? Like locally on a
Yeah.
device. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's the reason behind it. I think it's just how you build apps these days, really, like using your tools to compile the code. But it does have that advantage of also working offline, um, whereas what you build with FMView requires a internet connection. So, so yeah, if you wanted to deploy this on say a Go app that you want to take offline, um, you'd need to do sort of what I suggested I might be able to automate in the future, which is to go through the CDNs and just actually retrieve the actual source and paste it in. That's going to make your app a lot bigger. So, any other questions? I think I've covered most of the features and things. But we could go ahead and build another app if anybody has something they want to build, or if you really want me to suffer here, I could try to figure out what's wrong with this one.
I have a couple of questions about the GPTs that you're using.
Hmm.
How do you decide which one you want to use for a given project?
So you can actually change it for every prompt. Um, and I have not done enough testing to really know if 4.1, for example, is fast. 4.1 mini is a lot faster than 4.1. Um, because they're all so going to be so affordable for what we're doing here. Um, you could just jump to GPT-5. Like, I don't know. I kind of just think about it, and if I'm doing something simple, I just go for 4.1 mini. And if I'm doing something really complex, I might pick one of these two. And I don't really have any rules that I follow to decide which one. Um, Sometimes if I don't like what it did on something, I'll change the model and try something else. Um, and I can't remember. I don't even know if I've tried 5 mini. I thought that I put these in order by cost, but that might not be right. Um, yeah, I don't know that 4.1 is more expensive than 5, but it might be. So I think most of what I've used it with is GPT-5 and 4.1 mini. But
And these are OpenAI, right? Or is
yeah,
this Claude?
yeah, it's OpenAI and it only works right now with OpenAI. You could change it, that would be really easy.
Got it. And yeah, that was my next question is how do you go about changing it?
So in the AI assistant script, um, let's see, we got the model is here. The OpenAI API key is here. So actually, I didn't show you that we have preferences or settings. So you put in your API key here. You can choose a default model that you just want to come up automatically. And then you have to just put in an email address if you want to use diff checker. Um, I think it gives you like a couple hundred diffs per month per email address. And this is where the default scaffolding goes, actually. And so that's settings. So if you wanted to use something other than OpenAI, let's see, down here under get response from model, you could just change, whoops. Where is that set? I guess it's in, sorry, configure AI account, yeah. So we have model provider. There you go. So you could just change that, and that's all you need to change, actually. There's also some logic here to fall back to using curl if it's an older version, or if you've selected use curl. The reason I added that checkbox was because of an issue I was running into where when I used get response from model, it was cutting off the tokens at a certain place. It was just cutting off the response. It was just stopping. So I had to figure out with help from Claris what I needed to add to fix that, which was basically you have to specify the maximum token count. You can't leave it blank for some reason. I guess they're adding in something by default. So here it is, max tokens. And you have to, if you want it to just be as long as it needs to be, you have to actually look up the model and determine what the maximum number of tokens is for that model. I've just set a default here of 32,768, but some models are capable of returning more data in a response. Let's see if there's anything else worth looking at here. So app name. This is all my complete history since 2024 September of system prompts. So you could probably see that it started as just one page or less, and it just kept getting longer and longer. History. Actually, this is worth knowing about. You can, let's see, when you're, yeah, let's look at this one. When you click here, it shows your complete chat history. But I actually like, if I'm actually once I've accomplished something and I want to request something completely different, I'll often just click clear chat history because the AI doesn't need to know all this previous context of what we were doing if I'm now about to ask it to do something completely unrelated to that. So as far as source code, it's always sending the most current version. It does not see the history of changes of the source code, but it does see the conversation history unless you clear it. Yeah, and then just a bit of logic to decide whether to use get response from model or curl, and then to run that. Anything else? Anybody want me to build one more thing? The
I don't
problem
see
is,
anything in the.
sorry?
I'm gonna say so. There was one thing that came in early on, but might be fun to do. It's a type to filter Dropbox and expandable text box.
Okay, are those two different things or?
I think it's
Oh, are you talking
iPad
about in the
AC. I'm
chat?
not sure.
This is in the
Yeah,
chat somewhere?
yeah.
Okay, I wasn't looking.
I guess they're two separate things. Yes. So The expandable text box could be an interesting one.
Yeah, except it won't be able to expand beyond the web viewer. So, okay, I see the chat now. Type to filter Dropbox is definitely that should be easy to do. So, um, yeah, let's do a pop-up menu. That's a super useful thing to have. So we'll do a new app. Um, type ahead pop-up. Uh, actually, you know what? I'm going to call it list. I don't want to confuse the AI about it being a pop-up because we're actually going to put it in a popover. So there's not going to be anything to pop up. So let's do that. And I'm going to say,
You mean it uses the app name as part of the
the AI does get informed about the app name.
okay.
And the app name is also used. Sorry, stop. I'm loving the new iOS 26 feature where people have to explain why I should pick up the phone before before I do it, because most of the scammers don't bother. So I'm getting much less phone calls. Um, really cool. Sorry, Robert, what were you asking me?
You just confirmed the app name is being used as
Oh yeah.
part of what gets sent
Yeah,
to
yeah, it's
the AI. You were about to say it's used elsewhere as
yeah,
well.
it's also used in the default name of the FileMaker script. So I called this type head list, and it's assuming that I'm gonna have a FileMaker script called JS type head list load, for example.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, the AI is aware of it. I could change that here though. Now that'll cause a conflict between here and the source. So unless I explain that, it may fix the wrong one, but it'll probably see the conflict and attempt to resolve it. Okay, so create sample data. So this is going to be a pop-up list with a bunch of fruits. Is that okay? Create sample data. Uh, Around 20 fruits. And display a field where I can type a fruit, and the list below filters accordingly. Okay, pretty basic requirement. I might also, I'll keep it simple for now, but I might need to ask it to take up the 100% of the screen width because this is just going to be a little widget in FileMaker. Now, I also could have said for the sample data, create 20 fruits and give each one an ID and a name. That would have worked too. Okay, so let's start typing. Oh, no matching fruits found. Let's look at what it did here. Okay, here's all my fruits. So that's good. Um,
There's no S.
okay,
Oh.
right. So I'll do. It's still not working. Okay, okay, I'm gonna ask it to fix it. Hmm, the heck? Oh, yeah, this is completely wrong. I've never seen it do this before. But
It's sending the fruits to FileMaker.
yeah. Sort of, yeah. Yeah, it's actually not doing that. The sample parameter in the FileMaker scripts doesn't really have any effect. It's more for documentation. So I'm going to delete that and just put blank because we're actually not expecting a parameter there. And here, that's where we expect it. So refresh. There we go. So now it's working, yeah. So now that that has occurred, I'm going to be tweaking the system prompt slightly tonight. I actually have noticed that sometimes it puts the sample parameter here and here, and I think I saw that earlier on this call as well. So yeah, it's just a matter of explaining it better in the system prompt, and that issue should go away. But yeah, so I could say remove the text, type of fruit, and make this take up 100% of the browser width and height. And no rounded corners, no gap between boxes. And then I'll also want to say when I click a fruit, run FileMaker script fruit selected or whatever. So here we go. So this is much better. So now this, I mean, I can't show this small. Actually, no, I guess I can. I can do it out here and I can make it smaller. Yeah. So I can make it like this size and then banana. Scrolls. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Do you want me to take that farther at all, or you get the idea?
I was
I mean,
interested by the fact that it automatically sorted them. I was thinking that might be for the user would be
oh
easy to
yeah.
read, and yet it seemed to do it automatically.
So actually, the sample data is sorted.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll add another item here. Strawberry. I'll go back to the split here. Get rid of this. Oh, okay. So yeah, it's not doing any sorting. It sorted when it generated them.
When it generated the fruits.
Yeah. So, but I can ask it to sort the list. I think that's all I need to say. I could have also said run a FileMaker script when I click it. That would obviously be the next step for this. All right, so now strawberry is where it should be
That's cool.
at the bottom. Yeah, and so just to help sort of make it clear what you can do here. This setup function is normally run automatically when the web viewer is loaded. If you recall, the web viewer runs a FileMaker script to basically say I'm ready, and then FileMaker runs the setup and it passes in this. So it's put that sample parameter. As soon as I selected setup, it found the sample parameter from the FM tab. But I can completely change this now. And does anybody have a fruit that's not here that's interesting?
Dragon fruit.
Okay, awesome. Let's do that too.
Kiwi.
I just did kiwi. All right, so now I click run, and the new data is sent in, and it immediately updates the web viewer. The web viewer did not refresh; it updated in real time by running a method that inserts the new data. I could also say we want the filter text to automatically include the letter A, so that when I run it, A will be there and only oh, I didn't actually notice that it's not just filtering left to right, it's actually filtering anywhere in the word. That's another thing you could ask for it to do differently, but I could type berry and it'll show all the things with berry in it. So that's kind of nice actually. Yeah, I could very easily do that other example where there's an expandable text box, but yeah, you have to realize that it's not going to expand beyond the bounds of the FileMaker object, in which case you probably just want it to be you know, that size anyway. Unless you're doing like I was showing earlier with the print layout,
Can you make the
where
list clickable, where you click on it and you get the value from it?
yeah. So let's say
And besides that, one more thing there. Can you pass along an ID value for Blueberry, let's say, that's not
okay,
on the
yeah.
list?
Okay, let's do that first. So that's not on the list? What do you mean about that? You
Well,
mean
it doesn't show, the value doesn't show there, but you pass along a different value. When you click
right.
on BlackBerry, you get an ID value, let's say.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. So I'm going to say modify the sample data. So each fruit has an ID and a name. Um, I'll just say the ID should be an integer. Um, and yeah, I think it'll work. It'll make the necessary update, I think, to the UI to display the name. Okay, wait a minute. Why is it doing all that? Let's see if it actually did that. Please modify the data structure. This has happened a few times in this presentation. It's never happened before. But it actually did not change anything. It just gave it to me in the message instead. So rather than ask it to try again, I'm just going to paste it in. I think I got that right. Yep. Okay, and this is still working. So I guess it did update the source, right? Because let's see, fruit.name. Yeah, it did. That's weird. It updated the source, but it did not update the sample data. Oh, that's interesting how it also has that in here. So it's making a few little small mistakes here. But anyway, so now I'll say, in fact, I'm going to clear the history so that it doesn't get confused by it. Like I was saying earlier, that can happen. When I click a fruit, run FileMaker script, select fruit, and pass in the ID. I could ask for the name too. Doesn't matter. Okay. I still have a beach ball here. Okay. So I'll type AP and I'll choose grape, and it ran a FileMaker script, select fruit, and I can see here what it sent to FileMaker. It sent ID 10, name grape. And if I look at the sample data, I can see that ID 10 is grape.
Perfect.
Really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah, I do like these pop-up menus. I mean, it is a little weird putting it in the popover, but that's just the best way to do it. Pretty cool because value lists are just there's such a major limitation there. So one other thing that I could do in our remaining time, if you want, is we can do like a very quick, basic look at Vue.js and some of the things that it brings to us here. Hold on, let me just okay. Um, so I think I actually have a sample. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So so data binding example. Yeah, let's sort of go through a couple of these, I guess. Open app. So if I type hello world just prints right there. So all we need to make that work is, let's see, we've got the Vue.js CDN is here. And then I've got everything goes inside a div with ID app. And then here is the relevant section that we're talking about. And so the way this works is we have an input, and there's a property here called vModel, and the value is message. And so this binds this input field to the variable message in the model. And then below that, we have utyped. And then all this is curly braces and message. And then down at the bottom of the page, we have a script section. And all this needs is, I mean, you always need sort of this and this. And then we've got message blank, which is just the default value of the message. If I put something in there, then it would load with that initially. So initial value blank. And that's it. None of this other stuff is relevant for that example. So Vue.js takes care of all of the listening to my changes and updating any place on the page where I reference that same thing. So it takes away all of the JavaScript that you'd have to write with plain vanilla JavaScript in order to have all those references being monitored and updated continuously. So here's a more complex example. We've got hello 1 2 3 add, hello 5 6 7 add. So we're generating a list here. So let's look at how that works in the HTML list rendering. So let's see, we've got the heading there, we've got the input field, we've got our two buttons. The buttons have @click equals and then a method name. So we'll look at those methods down at the bottom in a minute. And then we have an unordered list. And there's a list item here with a property called v4. So v4 is basically saying we're going to loop through we're going to loop through items. And for each element in items, we're going to put it in item. And then we're going to render a list item. And then inside the list item, we basically just show the item because the array items is just an array of item names. And then there's a button to remove the item as well. So very simple. Anytime you have an array in your data in Vue.js, just use the v4, and then basically it'll repeat that element for each element in the array. If you want to look down here at the what's been created down here to make this work, we have the items array, which is blank, and the new item, which is also blank. So that's this and this data. And then in methods, we have add item, which So it's setting a temporary variable here within this method to a trimmed version of this dot new item. So it's just cutting off leading and trailing spaces. And then if item is just saying if there's anything there. So it's not going to add a blank line. This dot items dot push. Push just means add to the array, and this is what we're adding. And then this dot new item equals blank basically just clears this field. So yeah, that's basically how that works. And then show conditional rendering. This is another really simple thing. Show and hide. This does not require anything down here except this. Show info, default is false. And then up here in our app, all we're doing is with this button, we have an at click that sets show info to the inverse of show info. That's all there is. And then down here where the info actually is, we have a property called vIf. So that means this element will show if this is true. So it's really quite powerful and simple to do a lot of the things that we end up doing in these simple web viewer apps. The last example here is a computed property. It's basically an unstored calculation. So there's a section here called computed. And so this computed property is called squared. And basically it's just returning the number to the power of 2. So if we look at the HTML, we've got the input field, vModel is set to number. And then we're just inserting squared just like that, just like we inserted one of the variables earlier. You can also insert computed properties the exact same way. So there's your very quick crash course into Vue.js. But you don't. It's not critical to know the code, but it is helpful because the AI can do things for you, obviously. Any final questions, comments, or?
Well, the comments from my side, Jason, is this is a treasure. This is what can I say? I only have good things to say about this. Thank you very much for it.
Oh, you're welcome. And yeah, please try it. And I would love to hear about successes and failures as well.
Yeah, I just want to echo. It's just really very cool. And huge. I mean, even for people who've done coding, it's still just an enormous time saver. Being able to dictate it. It's really very interesting.
Yeah, so when I started this, I was sort of moderate familiarity with Vue.js and with I could get my way I could muddle my way through. Build tools were something I have experimented with, but were a little beyond my understanding. So like the last app that I built before I started FMView was I was using AI and I was doing a lot of copy pasting and to test and from a text editor to a FileMaker field and blah blah blah. And it's quite it can be quite a long and difficult process sometimes to nail things down. But this made it so much easier. While I've been doing this, I've also been experimenting with building apps using build tools with Vite and Vue.js, and I'm getting more comfortable with that as well. But those have been non-FileMaker WebViewer apps, and I'm still going to this for WebViewer stuff. So, but I would be really interested in, from those of you that said that you're using those advanced tools already. Those tools are great because they run a web server that you can wire up to a web viewer. So you can test it in your real FileMaker app while you're developing it, which is something that you can't really do with Vue.js. You can sort of simulate interactions with FileMaker using the tools I showed you. But yeah, if you can get a really good workflow with your build tools, that can be really powerful as well for working with FileMaker. But yeah, there can be a lot to remember and a lot to keep track of and things. Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Jason, thank you very much. I think that
Thanks.
was illuminating for all of us. I know a number of people on this call who will probably be downloading that and playing around with it the rest of the day and weeks to come. So I
Awesome.
appreciate it. So I think that concludes our CFDG for this month. Next month, our CFDG normally comes up around Thanksgiving, so we'll probably try to do something between Thanksgiving and Christmas, somewhere probably early December. We'll kind of change up the cadence a little bit so that we can get another one in before the end of the year. If anybody has any topics or presenters they would like to have come present to us for us to reach out to, I'd love to get your feedback on that, and we'll be happy to reach out to them and try to get them. Otherwise, we'll try to source somebody who we think would make sense and have a solution, hopefully similar to FMView, for us to take a look at. All right. Well, if that's it, I hope everybody has a great rest of your day, and we'll see you early December.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take
Have a good
care.
day, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.